get started.
I guess that's your cue.
Okay. All right. Welcome, everybody. Um, Welcome to the 2018 How To Festival. And my name is Shikhar Rastogi. And I am deeply grateful to come back again this year because I've been a presenter for the last 2 years. So this is my third year presenting at this festival. And my topic of presentation for today is how to let go of your fears. And before we get into the topic of fears, I just want to give you a little bit introduction about who I am and why I'm here talking about fears. There are so many things to talk about in the world, but fears is something that I have been really intrigued by and interested in because I am somebody who lived in a depression and constant state of anxiety for several years before I started to learn from that depression and that constant state of anxiety. And when I started to learn, I started to get amazing insights into how a human mind works. My mind works, and amazingly, this is how I realized everybody else's minds work. And the way I started to get those insights is I started to notice my thoughts, and because I was noticing my thoughts, I would understand the things that I was feeling, which was pretty much fear all the time, most of the time. So I am somebody who loves to share my experiences, my learnings, my knowledge that I have accumulated through going through my own life and coming out the other side. I still feel fear from time to time, but I now know how to manage my fears, how to just let go of them. And that is my hope over the next 40 minutes of this presentation, is for you to be able to take anything, something that resonates with you, and you are the best person to know about your life, your situation, the things that you think in your life, the feelings that you feel, the fears that you feel. So my hope in presenting to you today is to be able to take this information. Again, if it resonates with you, take it with you and implement it in your own life. And that is the key. Implementation is the key, because if you are not able to implement it based on what it is that you require in your life, it's just information. And when you are implementing it in your life, you are transforming that information and creating knowledge out of it. And that is the key. And keep in mind, any presenter, I'm just, somebody who has been through this in my own life. Any other person, spiritual guru, teacher, expert, we are so fond of experts in this society. Even if you listen to them, keep in mind that what they have is what you also have. They have the same wisdom inside of them, and we all have the same wisdom. The only difference between them and us is that they are more connected to their own wisdom than we are. And the way to get connected to your own wisdom is by listening to all these talks, by reading that kind of stuff, and then obviously going back into your lives and implementing what you have just learned. All right, so let's get started. What is fear? I mean, everybody, if you ask different people probably will have different explanations, different definitions of fear. So this is what I have understood after living in fear for so long. Anything that is not love is fear. So there are a variety of emotions out there. You get angry, you get sad, you get mad, you get jealous. All those emotions, they are the negative emotions. But here's the thing. The root cause of all those emotions is fear. There is fear in you which is causing you to react that way, which is causing you to get jealous, get angry, get mad. These are times that we are living in which are very different from any other that we have seen before. And in these times, it seems to me like there is just too much fear out there. And the reason that there is too much fear out there is because of two different, triggers that the fear is triggered based on. So anytime you feel fear in your body, it's really a response to a threat, a perceived threat. So what happens is your mind tells you, hey, there's something, you are supposed to be afraid of. So there you go. You feel the fear in your body, and your body decides to either flee that situation if you are in that situation, or you start fighting in that situation. That's really your fearful response. So there are two different kinds of threats. There is a real threat. So for example, if you are in the middle of a situation where, let's say, there's a shooting that you are caught in the middle of. So that is the example of a real threat. Yes, in order for you to be safe, stay safe, you have to do something. You either have to run away or you have to start fighting in that situation. However, there is another kind of threat, which is imagined threat. And this is the threat that we are going to be talking about, and this is the fear that we are going to be talking about, because as a human society, this is what we have been plagued with. All the imagined threats. And the reason for all these imagined threats is because there is a lot of information out there. There is, we are so well connected, and this is the age of internet. And because this is the age of internet and we are all so well connected, we are so obsessed with news. We have news at our fingertips. Everywhere, anywhere, even when you are sleeping in the middle of the night, you can just wake up and get, that news. But the thing about news is it's mostly negative. It's mostly fearful. All they tell about all the time is, oh my God, the world is going to crumble. It is going to fall apart. It is already falling apart. So just imagine if you listen to that kind of information, how is it that you are going to feel? And that is one of the biggest reasons why people feel the way they feel all the time, which is fear. The other source of your fear is your own negative beliefs. So for example, you are somebody, for whatever reason, you are somebody who has this belief about, going on the highway, and you feel that once you are on the highway driving in your car, somehow it's very, very unsafe. You will either cause an accident, have an accident. And so if you are that somebody, what happens is, this is so subtle. Keep in mind, this is all so subtle, but it is so powerful. So every time you take out your car, you start that car, get on that highway, you are flushed with fearful thoughts in your head, because guess what? You have a belief which is telling you that it is very unsafe to go out there, drive your car on the highway. And this is what happens. And it will happen every single time that you take your car out on the highway. And this is what causes us a lot of fear all the time. And this is just one belief that I am, giving as an example. Our lives, if we start looking at the thoughts that we think on a constant basis, and 95%, in fact more than 95% of everything that we think is crap. And it is repetitive. It is like you think the same thing again and again, and no wonder you feel the same feeling again and again, because you are thinking the same thoughts. Guess what? Unless you start looking at your thoughts and the feelings that come and go as a result of that thoughts, and somehow be able to let go of those thoughts and thinking, there's nothing much you can do with regards to feeling, because you are going to feel exactly how you felt yesterday and the day before and the day before that. So, which is why, understanding how to let go of your thinking, which is really, where the feelings come from. So everything that you are thinking in your head triggers you to feel something in your body, and that something depends on what you are thinking. If you are thinking positive thoughts, chances are you'll be feeling the love, the positive energy, you'll be optimistic about your life, yourself, your situation. However, if you are thinking all those negative thoughts, thinking about what could go wrong the next time, what is it that I'm going to be doing in response to what is going to go wrong the next time, am I good enough or not, I am not good enough, what am I want to change this about me, I want to change that about the world. Guess what is it that you are going to feel in your body? The fear. Everything negative that you are thinking in your head is what you are going to feel in your body. That's how human mind works, regardless of where you come from, what culture you are from, what skin color you have, what background you are from, what religion you follow or do not follow. It does not matter. If you are a human being, this is the mechanism of the mind. So, for some of us, we know, or we may know that, okay, this is how the mind works, and it's because of all the things that I'm thinking, and it's an effect of everything that I'm thinking is what I'm feeling in my body. So why is it that we are not able to stop ourselves from thinking the things that we are thinking? That's the biggest question. That's like a billion-dollar question, not even a million-dollar question out there. Why, if we are one of those people who is conscious to some extent, why is it that we cannot stop fear in its tracks? And the reason why we cannot do that is because we are very afraid of our fears. Even though we know that, so for example, again, going back to that example of that shooting, if you have just listened on the news about these events that just happened, and your mind now starts to, go in overdrive thinking about, oh my God, so what is it that I'm going to do? When that happens, how is it that I'm going to respond? So what is really happening is you are not in the middle of that situation. All you did was hear about that situation through news channel, you got that information through some source, but now your mind has taken that information and it is creating its own story around that information. And when it creates that story, it is only going to be negative because of the news that it got in the form of negative information. That is all negative. So what is really happening is, even though we know, we are not able to stop ourselves from feeling the fear of that fearful thinking. So now there is a fear on top of that fear that we already have in our body. So we are thinking all the fearful things, and now we are scared of that fearful thinking that, oh my God, I should not be thinking like that. Oh my God, I need to start thinking positive, 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 positive. But here's the thing. What we are trying to do in that moment of reaching out for that positive thought is we are trying to stop ourselves from really feeling that fear. We are a society of human beings. We are so hung up on positive thinking, and I am not against positive thinking. It is the best thing in the moment, but it is short-lived. So if you are anybody who has ever practiced positive thinking, and I've done so many times in my life, I've tried it so many times, thinking positive things. But here's the problem with positive thinking. It lasts only for a few seconds. Maybe if you get very good at practicing it, it lasts, or it may last, for a few minutes. But then the nature of your mind pulls you back again to that negative thinking. And there you are, back again to being, negative, to feeling the fear. And this is the reason why positive thinking is a short-term fix, yes. But in the long run, you get so exhausted of trying to reach for that positive thought, because sometimes you just don't even feel like reaching for that positive thought. It's like, I cannot do it. So what is it that, and in trying to reach for that positive thought, all we are trying to do here is to push away the way we feel right now, in this moment, which is fear. So, how can you really then learn to let go of your fears? How do you even begin to do that? For somebody who is not even aware of the fact that they are living in fear, because so many of us, for so many of us, fear is like this low-grade fever that a human being could live with. It's inside us. Every time we go out into the world, every time we have to make a decision, even if we don't go out into the world or make a decision, even if we are at home, just the pure act of looking at ourselves into a mirror every morning, all we see is everything that's wrong with us. That's fear. That is all fear. So if you are somebody who does not yet recognize the fear in your own life, that is where you start. You start becoming aware of the fear, or the fears, because we have so many of those. And when you start becoming aware of the fears, this is the key. And this has been my lifesaver. Back in 2007, when I was completely engulfed in a constant state of anxiety and depression, this is what I had a thought back in 2007, that if I continued going on living my life the way I'm living today, or have been living for the last few years, I'm not going to make it. So you have to make a decision. And this is really your will. This is where you are going to use your really strong will. And the decision is not made just one time. I did not make that decision one time in 2007. I have to make it every single moment that I start feeling that fear. Come back to your decision. And the decision is, I want to live a peaceful life. I deserve to live a fearless life. Why not? The world is beautiful out there. It's much safer than what people tell. It's not a bad world out there, because if you look at it from the perspective of, oh my God, there's just bad people out there, there's only fear out there, there's only bad situations out there, that is what you and your mind will focus on. But when you change your perspective from fear to love, is when you'll start finding it in yourself, in the situations that you get. I was recently laid off from a job of 7.5 years, and to my amazement, I found a job in less than 2 weeks. I have no idea how that happened. I cannot even explain to you. And the job that I found, I should not even have applied to that job to begin with, because I did not have the requirements that fulfilled the criteria that they were looking for. So people, the biggest thing is to learn how to shift your perspective from fear to love. And that is when you will start finding love in all sorts of places. So when you have made that decision, the simplest thing that you can do to bring yourself back to yourself, to your own breath, simply breathe. We have forgotten to breathe. We breathe because we are living beings, but we are not consciously breathing. Breathe. When you breathe, what happens is, and it's all about an intention and an attention dance. So when you breathe, you bring back your attention to your breath, into your body, in the present moment, away from all the crap that your head is thinking right now. And it is the simplest thing, but yes, it requires practice, and it's okay if you fail. Keep failing. The only bad thing that could happen is that it will build your practice. which is eventually a very good thing because it will build your practice. So keep trying. Sometimes in the beginning what will happen is you breathe and then one time after consciously breathing, you'll be back again here. It's okay. You failed. Big deal. Does not matter. Try it again. You fail again. Try it again. You fail again. Try it again. Keep trying because your life, it is totally worth it. Because there is so much love and beauty out there once you can let go of those fears from your head and as a result from your own body. So talk to yourself. I mean, a lot of us go to therapists and it is totally fine to go to therapists and seek their help. But here's the thing. We can do the same thing at home with ourselves, by ourselves, and do not call it meditation. I know a lot of people get put off just by the term meditation. Don't call it meditation. Meditation is nothing fancy. Meditation is only the ability to sit with yourself, all by yourself, all alone. Start with 2 minutes. Build on that 2 minutes. Make it 5 minutes and then 10 minutes. Don't do anything. I'm not asking you to chant. I'm not asking you to do anything there. Just sit. Sit alone. That's the key. And if you are able to build that practice, you know what happens? The amazing thing that happens is that you start to get to know yourself. That is what meditation has taught me. We spend lifetime trying to meet other people's expectations because we want to be liked, we want to be approved, we want to fit in. And because we want to do all those things is why we never even begin to understand who we truly are. What is it that our heart truly desires? And meditation or sitting all by yourself will do exactly that for you. It will open a window, but don't expect miracles. I mean, maybe miracles could happen with people, but generally it is a gradual process. And you will fail. Keep in mind, you will fail. Because it's not, if you are that someone who has never taken the time to sit all by yourself, with yourself, alone, it is not going to be easy. But here's the thing. Nothing, no harm can ever come out of sitting all by yourself. Yes, your head may be telling you, oh my God, you may just collapse right here now because of all the things that you're feeling in your body, all the sensations that are feeling. Nothing will happen to you. Trust me. Nothing will happen. You will come out of those 5 minutes totally fine. Yes, it'll be a torture in the beginning. If you are able to sit through that, I swear to you, this will build on your practice and it will build on everything. All the patience that you need in this world, all the right attitude, all the right perspective, that is what it is going to create for you. This is the biggest one. And this is really what has helped me. And from my perspective, this is the last point here, learning to love your fears is the long-term solution. And what you are really trying to do is you are, learning to see yourself as a human being. We want to be those little perfect robots, is how I call it. We want us all to stop feeling all the negative emotions, to be happy and positive all the time, every time. People, we are all human beings. And when you start to accept and acknowledge the fact that you are human, and just like any other human out there, and if there is somebody that you ever meet in their life, who tell you that they actually don't feel fear and they, never think negative things, they are lying. Do not believe them. They are all lying. We are all human beings. Yes, some of us feel the fear more than other people, But we all feel the fear. We are human beings. We all feel the positive and the negative emotions. So start by acknowledging and accepting that we are all human beings and we will feel fearful from time to time, and it's okay. Nothing bad will happen if you allow yourself to feel that fear. It's a feeling just like any other feeling. It will pass through your body if you allow yourself to feel it. Just like any other emotion out there, even happiness. And when you are able to practice that, there is another big tool. It's not even a tool, it's really just so simple: gratitude. When you are able to wake up every morning and go to bed every night and still be able to count, 5 things. If you are not able to count 5 things, if you had a horrible day, 4 things, 3 things, 2 things, 1 thing, just try to find at least 1 thing every single morning and every single night that you are grateful for. Your health, the home that you live in, the relationships that you have, the relationships that you don't have, the job that you have, the nice boss that you have. We live in the United States of America, one of the safest countries in the world out there. Thank Lord for that. There are so many things we can be grateful for. So start counting that, because you know what happens when you start focusing, again, focusing your attention on gratitude, on the things that you are already, that are so awesome in your life. When you start doing that, it shifts your perspective from fear, your attention from fear to love. Because you are now focusing on something that is amazing in your life right now. And that is the platform that you need to get on to the next beautiful, awesome thing in your life. And the next awesome thing in your life. This is how it happens. You can never achieve or get to that next awesome thing in your life by cribbing about the life that you have today. By cribbing about the fact that you don't like this today. By cribbing about the fact that you have such nasty, useless relationships, bad job, bad bosses. You can never get to that next beautiful thing, ever. You can only do that when you are already so amazingly grateful for what you have today in your life. And that's a very, very effective way to let go of your fears, by focusing on gratitude. Again, simply breathe. This is just a reminder. I already talked about this. Learn to do conscious breathing. Learn to breathe consciously. And yes, you will forget probably 100 times in a day, but that's okay. Come back to it. I mean, I've sat in meetings where I am dealing with people who are just at each other's throats, maybe even at my throat. And I'm just breathing because I cannot deal with that tension anymore. I've sat in restrooms and done this breathing exercise. It only takes 1 minute. Use that 1 minute. All it needs from you is to remember to do that. And when you remember is when you can do it anywhere, regardless of where you are. So this is, there is so much information out there. Like I said in the beginning of my presentation, I do not expect people to follow gurus or follow, spiritual teachers. The key here is to remember we all have all the wisdom inside of us. The problem with human race is that we put some people on this pedestal, the pedestal of experts and teachers and gurus, and we just blindly start following them. That is not what or how it is supposed to happen. Yes, go out there, listen to people. Listen to everything that you think is right for you. It resonates with you. but bring it back and use your own wisdom to implement that in your life, because that is what's going to help you. I cannot give you, or nobody on this planet can give you answers to your lives. You have to find answers to your own life. And that is what I mean by getting connected with your own wisdom. Because there is no other way, because life is so awesome and so worth living. Like I said before, once you get past your craziness, the head, the thinking that you have in your head, it's all there is to life is how you think. And because we never got an opportunity to learn through parenting, when we were being parented by our parents did not know that. So let's not, try to find our parents and put all the blame on them. No. They did not know this. Nobody knew this. But you know what? Just because you are here, and you may be, other places out there, listening to presentations, listening to people talk, reading, it is so important, because that is really where or how you can begin to even learn something. And stop watching news. It's been 7-8 years. I do not watch the news because I cannot tolerate the news. I am somebody, and there is a personality trait in people. It's called highly sensitive people. And for people who are highly sensitive, somehow we have this thing about thinking very deeply and feeling very deeply. And we are people who are more prone to thinking a lot of negative things, and as a result feeling a lot of negative things. So just Google this term, highly sensitive people. But that doesn't mean that I'm giving you a diagnosis, oh my God, you're doomed now that you are all highly sensitive people. No, you're not. There is so much beauty. I am a highly sensitive person, and that's the reason why I was able to use that depression and constant anxiety of mine and turn it into something else. I'm able to write the blog that I'm able to write, put myself out there. I'm not a public speaker, but I gather all my courage to give these presentations in hopes that somebody can get something out of it. Even if it's one person, if you can get hope, it's the biggest thing that you can give anybody. Because when I was going through that, back in the day, all I really needed was hope. Just hope that yes, it's okay. It's okay to be in depression, it's okay to be in constant state of anxiety, but that's not what the future will be for me. There is hope that things will turn around, and it did. So stop watching news and stop listening to things that give you positive information, that give you hope. And that's really the starting off, how you turn things around for yourself. And don't be afraid to fail. You will fail. I fail. I mean, just as we were driving to this place, my head was, constantly chatting up with me. Oh my God, so what am I going to do? This is a long weekend, and I was talking to Elizabeth also over there. This is a long weekend. What if nobody shows up? Oh, okay. Well, even if nobody shows up, there is still somebody who's going to be listening to what I have to say. There is the library staff out here who is interested. And this is how sneaky a human mind is. It just never shuts up. So don't even listen to it, because it will never shut up. And that's how you learn to let go. Let it just keep doing that. Chat, chat, chat in the background. Keep going on with your business, because that's all it knows how to do. What you need to understand is, let it do what it knows how to do. You do what you know how to do, which is not to pay attention to it. And when you stop paying attention to it is when you start letting go. And that's really the key. And I would like to end here, give you guys 5 minutes if you have any questions for me, anything that you would like to ask, and if I can help answer. Other than that, thank you very much, and thank you for your time. Yes.
No,
It's okay.
no, it's
Go
okay.
ahead.
Actually, I have a couple
Yes.
questions.
Yes.
The information that you provided, is it in your blog?
So this
This
presentation,
information, yes.
it's not, but I can put it up here. So if you are on Facebook, if you type up the Love Your Fear, just type Love Your Fear. There's a group that I have recently created, and you're welcome to join that group if you want. But if you can give me your email, I can send it to you. My blog, I don't know if there is a way to attach it to my blog, because the way I write my blog is it's a Google blog. So I have this page that shows up, and I can just put that information that I type, just copy and paste it over there. So I'm not even sure if I can attach it, but if I can, I can definitely try.
Okay, so it's basically on Facebook, most of the
I
page.
can put it up on Facebook also. I mean, it's Love Your Fear is the group that I manage. You're more than welcome to join it. Just send me an invite and I'll add you to it, and I did not even realize that I can actually put it up there, but I will. Thank you.
And you said that you've been doing this for 2 years. Have you heard back from other people that have been coming in?
I've never really heard back from people who came in. I presented two different topics. The first one was 2016 was how to bring mindfulness into your life, and the second was how to love yourself. And I think I did not do a good job of putting my blog out there, and this is something brand new.